When visiting a new country, we want to experience the very best. We want to see the best sights and the best experiences while avoiding the tourist traps, right? Well, here are my 8 tourist traps to avoid while in Iceland. Let's go. Number 1 is the Sun Voyager. The Sun Voyager is a sculpture located on the waterfront of Reykjavik, Iceland's capital city. The sculpture resembles a Viking ship and was unveiled in 1990 as an ode to light, the sun, and hope. To me, it's a little bit underwhelming, and I don't get the hype. It's always filled with travelers taking photos, and I guess it does look okay. And what might be turning me off the most is the location of it, since it always takes a while to get there and it's very exposed to wind. Now, I drive past the Sun Voyager every single day on my way to work, and I'll see some people taking photos of it in the crazy wind, and I think to myself, I don't get it. The only exception is on super clear days. When the sun's out, no skies, no wind, I can appreciate the sight or the sighting of Esja Mountain, which is behind the Sun Voyager, which can look very cool on clear days. But the Sun Voyager itself, I don't know. Not worth the hype, in my opinion. Number 2 is currency exchange at the airport. Growing up in Iceland, my mother would always tell me to never do 2 things. Number 1 is don't do drugs. Number 2, don't exchange money at the airport. So when you arrive to Iceland, to Keflavik International Airport, you can, at the arrival hall, exchange your money for the Icelandic currency, which is the Icelandic krona. But just know that you'll be paying a premium for the exchange. It's much better and much cheaper to simply exchange your money at a bank in the city, or simply use your debit card, your credit card, or Apple Pay. It all works here in Iceland. But keep in mind, when using a card here in Iceland, you might be asked to insert your PIN number or the PIN number of the card when using it. So before coming to Iceland, it's good to double check and to have your PIN of all your cards that you'll be using in Iceland. Number 3 is to avoid Lundabúðir. Lundabúðir, it's an Icelandic word. It simply translates to puffin store. And it's a souvenir shop in Reykjavik, and here in the city you'll find a lot of them. And while fun to browse, many of these shops will sell mass-produced items at inflated prices. A better choice for souvenirs are the local boutiques and shops. You'll find many good ones on Skólavörðustígur, which is the big rainbow road that goes up to Hallgrímskirkja Church. Or simply visit the Kolaport Flea Market, which is open on the weekends. Number 4 is buying a fake lopapeysa or fake wool sweater. Now, the Icelandic lopapeysa is very well known. Made from Icelandic sheep wool, it's very beautiful, very unique, very warm, very traditional. Now, this can be a great purchase while in Iceland, both to keep you warm, but also as a souvenir. But if you plan on purchasing one of these, you want to get the real stuff, not the fake stuff. A lot of touristy shops here in Iceland will take the Icelandic wool, ship it off to China, where the sweater is made, and then they'll ship it back to Iceland and sell it as a real Icelandic lopapeysa. But you don't want to buy that. You want to buy the real stuff, which is why you want to visit the Icelandic Hand Knitting Association, which is an organization which is dedicated to preserving and promoting the art of Icelandic hand knitting. It was founded in 1977, and the association has played a significant role in celebrating and sustaining Iceland's rich knitting heritage. So that's where you get the real stuff, and you can find the shop of the Icelandic Hand Knitting Association on the Rainbow Street, which is the big street that goes all the way up to the church. Number 5 is buying water in the stores. Now, in the grocery stores here in Iceland, you'll find overpriced water, and nobody buys it except the tourists. Which does make sense if you think about it, because oftentimes people back home, they're not used to being able to just drink simply from the tap, and they'll need to buy water from the stores. But the water that you'll find in the stores is the same exact water that you'll find from the tap, whether it's from your Airbnb or from your hotel or wherever in Iceland. It's the same exact water. So if you just bring along a water bottle, you'll never need to buy overpriced water in Iceland. Number 6 is visiting the plane wreck on the south coast. In 1973, an airplane was forced to make an emergency landing in Iceland after experiencing severe icing during a flight. Remarkably, all crew members survived the plane crash, but the plane was left to deteriorate here in Iceland. Now, the plane is located on Sólheimasandur in the south coast of Iceland. And it's a popular tourist attraction, but in my opinion, it's a bit overhyped. To visit, you must now park at a designated parking area and walk 4 kilometers, which is around 2.5 miles, each way to reach the plane wreck. But in my opinion, it's a bit too much of a walking, especially if the weather conditions are a bit rowdy, for a pretty underwhelming sight. So even though I would say the south coast area of Iceland is mesmerizing, filled with beautiful sights, I would say the plane wreck on the south coast and going there to visit, it's a bit overhyped. Now, number 7 is doing a big bus tour while in Iceland. Now, you want to experience Iceland in the best possible way. And in my opinion, that's in a small group with a local guide. Not in a big bus with 80 or 90 other people. But when booking tours in Iceland, let's say a tour of the Golden Circle, there are so many websites and platforms to choose from, and you'll find countless versions of the Golden Circle from a variety of different tour operators. And the big bus tour operators, they're not going to tell you beforehand, hey, by the way, you're going to be doing a mass tourism type experience on a big bus filled with other people, unfortunately. But you don't have to, because like I've always said, personal and small group experiences are the way to go. Which is why on a website you'll find the very best small group experiences of the most amazing sites in Iceland at wakeupreykjavik.com. Number 8 and our final one of the day is to grocery shop at 10:11. You probably heard beforehand that Iceland can be expensive, but in my opinion, there's no need to make it more expensive than it has to be. And a big mistake that you can make is to bulk up on food and drinks at 10:11. It's a very centrally located and very overpriced grocery store located in downtown Reykjavik. And although it can be good for a quick stop, it is very expensive. So if you're making a large purchase, perhaps buying food for a whole week while in Iceland, then you want to go to a local grocery store like Bónus or Krónan. They're both centrally located, and this is where you'll get decent pricing as well. So I hope this helps. That's 8 tourist traps to avoid while in Iceland. If you've been to Iceland already and you feel that there's something missing from this list, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe for more. See you in Iceland.